Okay, today we are putting in the flooring. We finished the aluminum framing, although I will come in and do something with these corners, I decided. I think I'm gonna buy the flat aluminum strips and run it from here to there and let it lay across the ribs under there. I can't get a riveting tool down in there, so they'll be riveted here and riveted there, and then I will do something similar coming across here, so at least there's a framing underneath each of those corners. So I'll have to go get that aluminum and install that, but I can still lay out my templates. So what I'm doing is cutting cardboard. I have some of these large U-Haul boxes. Luckily I kept them. And I'm just laying out, I took some basic measurements in here with the measuring tape, and then I'm just laying that on here and cutting it. And then I'll lay that piece down in here and trim it as needed, make some marks on it, trim it as needed, lay it in there, get it so I have a 1/4 inch around the edges, so the carpet that is folded over the wood will be have space to nestle down in there. I'm gonna do one piece here, one piece there, and I'm seeing now that just like framing your house for drywall, I'm gonna end my piece flush with this one big piece, and I'll need another piece in there. I'm just gonna rivet to this so it has a lip to catch on. Same principle as framing for drywall. You've got every edge of drywall has to have a lip to set on that you can, so it's not just flexing down in there. So in my mind, I was gonna come out onto this, but I want this to be a straight line. So I'll just cut a 10.5 inch piece and rivet it into here. That way I can end my board flush with this. After I get these all created, then I'll set the boards up here, lay the template on them and cut them out. I'll dry foot the wood down into here. And once I feel really good about that, then I will fiberglass resin. And I can see I'll need more most likely. This is 30 ounces, and I believe on the video I was watching last night, it took a guy 20 ounces to do either one side of a sheet or both sides. I couldn't tell what he was saying in the video, how much it took, but so I'll probably have to go get more resin. They sell these in bulk, like 4 times this, and I should have grabbed that because this was expensive, but that was I think that big one was like 100, and this was 30 or 40 or 50. I mean, it was pricey. So it's not cheap, but this stuff supposedly dries just in minutes. The guy was doing it outside. I can't do that today. It's supposed to drizzle all day long, which is a total bummer. Yesterday was nice and sunny, but I didn't get to it. So that's the steps I'm about to take, and I'll film little things here or there if I see some nuance or variation, just to show you what I'm doing. But it should be really straightforward, pretty simple. Not easy, but like simple steps. So, oh, also I bought AC or whatever plywood, has one good side, so kind of like a cabinet grade side. I didn't buy full-on cabinet grade stuff that's like $100 a sheet. These were more like 60, I think, a sheet. But you can't have these pockets, otherwise you have to fill those, and it's a tedious process and all that. Otherwise your carpet won't glue to that. And so you need one side that's just free of any kind of pockets or blemishes. This one looks like this is the side, but it's not. It has some pockets there. So here it is right here. So I've got that dry fitted there. I'm gonna tape on an extra piece so it's full. I made my notes. It's all good. I don't know how this side got off, but I need to add about a 1/2 inch along there and maybe a 1/4 inch along there. And then I need to take off just a little bit here, and I made my markings. So I'm gonna tape that on now, and then I'll go and draw this out. See how it goes. All right, got that all drawn out. Added my 5 3/4 there. fill that void. And fingers crossed that works out, because this is expensive wood. You can't really screw it up. All right, let's get this cut. Okay, it's all cut. Let's go dry fit it and pray it works, because that was an expensive piece of lumber. Looks good. Feels real solid. I am noticing that these corners have a little bit of flex in them. And I think once the carpet is under there, it'll set right on those edge rivets and I'll be totally fine. Especially if I glue a rubber pad. But I think I will do that cross framing that I mentioned. I think I mentioned it. Just a flat piece of aluminum from that rib to this rib and setting on the others. I can't get my rivet gun under there. And then back over here, so there's at least something there. Looks good. Looks like I'm tight against this edge though, so I'm gonna have to adjust there. All right, we got our template for that back piece. Let's go see if she fits. Just walking around on this decking, I'm gonna really like it. I'm glad I decided to do it. I almost talked myself out of it. Worried that I wouldn't be able to figure it out. Look at that, sweet. Might just be perfect. Okay, got that all cut. Just used a drill to get the ends of these slots and then cleaned it up a little bit more with a chisel. Hopefully those are dead on. Let's go place it and see what happens. Perfect. I need to come this way a little bit more. Right there might need a trim. Those rivets are going to catch the carpet. All right, I threw that piece in there so that when they meet here, there's a lip underneath both pieces. Just threw 4 rivets in there since the weight will be on here. Okay, last piece of wood over there. All right, last piece is cut. This one has kind of a little bit of a curve in 1 inch at the bow end. So we'll see how that works. I don't know if I cut it right or not. It's hard to determine where to go. Let's drop it into place and see what happens. It looks pretty good, except for I think I need to come back even more here. It's sitting up on a ridge there. Same thing on this side. Alrighty, let's do a little trim. I got my 3 pieces of wood all fit just right. So now I'm gonna do kind of a light sand on them and then start the resin. Everything I'm reading is telling me this is not enough for what I'm about to do. So I'm gonna go get some more when I get the aluminum as well to get these corners situated correctly. But if things go smooth, I still am on track to maybe finish this up today, but we'll see. Sanding, I'm going to do this Bondo fiberglass resin. This small bottle is 28.8 fluid ounces, and this whole tube of hardener will get this prepped for this. So if I use it all at once, I use the whole tube at once. They recommend doing it in smaller amounts, but I'm just gonna do it in this tray. I've got about 4 of them with this roller, and this should cover one side and the edges and get me through that. And then I'll let it cure for however long it takes, up to 2 hours potentially. I'll flip it, and then I should have just bought this to begin with. This one thing would have been enough for my my total job, but I'll start using this. And so you're supposed to do 2 coats. So coat, let it cure a bit, flip, coat, let it cure up to 2 hours, flip, coat, coat. So I'm hoping by the end of today I've got all of the coats on there, and then I'll just let it dry overnight and then probably do the carpet another day. Got it mixed, and this starts my 10 minutes, and hopefully I can get through it before it hardens. Here we go. All right. That took me 11 minutes and 47 seconds. I set a timer so I could keep track. Ooh, there's a big old glob. Smooth that out. I can sand it later. You can see how much I have left over out of that 28. So it probably took 20 to 24 ounces total. I went through 2 rollers. Real quick, I just ran 2 cross pieces under there and then tied them in. So it looks a little bit hokey now. I mean, it's solid and it'll be great, but that'll keep that. And then this rises up there, and so with the carpeted wood, it's just going to sit tight against there. I might run an angle piece there, but I think that's going to be fine. I just don't think anybody's going to be standing in this little triangle very often at all. Most of the activity in the boat will be right here and back, and then these run under now, and so the corners will be pretty solid. All right, we're gonna do the other side. It took a lot longer to dry than I thought. It's only about 50 degrees in here, 53 degrees. I finally closed the door and turned the heater on. This makes me nervous. This had a little bit of a bow to it. Hope I can take that out with the screws when I affix it to the floor. But took about 4 hours for it to dry completely, so it wasn't tacky. So anyway, I'll do this other coat, let it dry overnight. It's getting later in the afternoon, and then tomorrow do the second. Okay, that took me 10 and a half minutes to roll that out, and I think I only mixed 24. I grabbed this empty yogurt container which said it held 24 ounces of yogurt, so it started to get a little bit sticky on this last one, just like last time, but not as bad. So I think I got a good coat on there. It's been nice just to have a pair of rubber gloves and these disposable trays so I can just set it down there and not have to worry about it. And the rollers, I just bought a small $10 pack of mini rollers. So that's been convenient so I don't get anything on me at all. All right, I'll let that dry overnight. It is super pungent in here. I mean, like almost nauseating. I would have preferred to do this on a sunny day outside. So I'll follow back up tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna do the second coat. I'm gonna do a sand. After I did the first coat last night or this morning, I was reading, and I guess you're supposed to wait about 4 to 6 hours, and while it's still slightly tacky, you do the second coat. So I probably should have done a first coat, left them sitting, 4 hours later, second coat, and then let it sit overnight. Because if you go more than 10 hours, then you have to sand it down so the second coat has something to grab to. Anyway, I didn't know all that. So I'll just do a quick sand and then take them outside, and then I'll spend today doing the second coat on both sides. And I'll probably say this at the very end of the video too, but it is very pungent, and I started to smell it come through the door into the house, probably just from us opening and closing the door a few times. So I opened the garage door this morning, but if at all possible, I'd do this outside. And it looks sunny today, so I'm gonna do it outside. Alrighty, I got these all done. This is the bottom side of each one of these, but they look good. I got 2 coats of resin. Interestingly enough, the second coat dried really fast. I mean, way faster than the first coat. So I thought that was interesting. But we're gonna attempt to get these done, though my only concern is this one. As it dried, it curved slightly. Probably a 1/4 inch rise, 3/8 inch. So I'm a little nervous when I go to glue the carpet onto it. I'll be gluing it onto the top side. I probably need to have a couple people stand on each side while I cut and fold and staple the carpet, and then hope that holds it flat instead of bowed slightly. I cleared out this space because this is flat in my garage. Every place else like this slopes to the drain. And I probably, with these small pieces, I probably still could have done it, but I just wanted this flat space. I vacuumed it, I cleaned it. And then I'm gonna roll this carpet out and get this first piece going. I'll get the glue out and show you that. Here it is. All right, so what I did is I just laid that piece on here, and then I trimmed with about 3 inches around the edge. So I've got that out. I'm gonna mark it underneath with an arrow rolling that way. So the front of the boat is pointed that way. That way I keep the grain of the carpet consistent on each piece as I cut them out. I have 16 feet of carpet, so I got ample so that I'd have plenty left over and not get short myself. Again, I ordered this carpet from, it's 16 ounce marine grade carpet with that rubber backing or whatever, latex backing or whatever it is. I ordered it from Tiny Boat Nation, and I also ordered the glue from Tiny Boat Nation, this marine exterior adhesive. I've got a couple of different scrapers. This glue says to use the 1/8 grooves rather than 3/16 or 1/4. I see different guys using different amounts of glue, but I'm just gonna go with the 1/8 as it recommended. I've seen guys do different things with this. I've seen some of them glue it to the board and then just set it and roll it out and then just let it sit with the fringes hanging over that you're gonna fold over. Let it sit for 24 to 48 hours. And then they come back and wrap it around the edges and staple it. And then I've seen a bunch of other guys that just do it all at once. They don't do that long wait period in between stapling. So I think I'm gonna do the all at once method, for better or worse, and we'll see how it goes. I do have my staple gun, this arrow. They're not very expensive, they're pretty cheap. And then I am using 3/8 staples in stainless. I've seen other guys use 5/16. That's the only size stainless staple any of my local hardware stores had. So that's what I'm using. So here we go. All right, so you can see what I'm doing here. And then when I flip the carpet over to reveal the back, then I'll glue this and then flip it onto there. So that's what I did for each of these, and I'm gonna glue and put it together now. I don't think I'll get into the details of how to do the corners and stuff. You're basically just folding it over. You can use pliers or your hands and stapling. The corners, I've seen guys staple, and then they cut this and leave a single flap, and then they pull that over, and it gives you a nice clean corner. I've seen other guys cut here and do a combination of folds there. So you can watch other videos for that. I think I'm gonna do the method where I staple here and I cut a 45 out of each side. So I just have a thing sticking up like a finger, and I wrap it down and staple that all. So I cut all three so that I can open the glue and start gluing and stapling and just kind of boom, 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 move along. I've got my heater going so that it needs to be 65 to 110 in that range for the glue. So it's at 70 now. One quick thing before I forget is you need a roller, and I forgot to buy a hand roller for carpet glue installation, but it doesn't matter. I've seen guys use baseball bats. I have this marble kitchen roller that the handles fell apart, and so it's just been in our drawer. I'm just going to use that to roll out once you glue it and lay the carpet on, you roll it as hard as you can to get the air bubbles out and just to compact the carpet with the glue. So I laid my carpet down, face down, the rubber up, then this is face up, so I can glue this and flip it. That's the front of the boat for the wood. And then I've got an arrow I drew with the marker. That's the front of the boat for the grain of the carpet. So when I flip it, I'm just making sure all three pieces stay consistent with that grain of the carpet, or it'll look funny. My boat's not a big deal. I mean, it's not some custom fancy job with all kinds of carpet everywhere, but you do want to keep your grain going consistent if you can. Okay, real quick, I've got the glue spread with the 1/8 inch grooves. And then I'm gonna flip this over and then use the roller to roll it out and then start stapling. All right, I got the first one done, I think. I haven't flipped it yet. Let's see how she looks. Yeah, it looks good. I will say be careful when you flip your wood over onto the carpet, you glued your board and you flip it over onto the carpet, and you maybe kind of step on it or just press it down. When you go to flip it over and then use your roller on this side to get any air bubbles out and all that stuff, when you go to flip it back, be careful that you didn't accidentally get a little bit of glue somewhere. I found one little streak of it. I don't know how it got there, but I almost laid this down in it, but I cleaned it up first, so just be mindful of that. I think I might actually go try and just fit this in place and make sure it works. All right, it looks good, fits great. It's a nice, firm, solid platform. I have a gap here and a gap over here, which is frustrating, but it is what it is at this point. So, but this is great. It feels really solid. I'll enjoy this carpet. I'll have to cut wood and screw it in there. I can't decide if I'm just gonna do bare wood or if I'll carpet it and affix it. We'll see. Okay, I went ahead and put this down. I had to come in from the edges some, but I think that'll still be good. It feels really solid. I'm really pleased with it. You can use stainless steel screws. I used a lathe style, self-tapping. So it has a head to it. Some guys do something else to affix it to the floor so it's a little more concealed, the screws, but again, this is for function for me, so I still think it looks fine and It's good. Another view. It's perfect. I love it. So glad I did it. All right, let's get this done. Also, while I'm thinking about it, I've already gone through a third of the 1,000. I'm putting a ton of staples in, so I just want to make sure that there's no problems in that regard. So you might grab 2 packs, grab a couple thousand if you have about the same square footage as I do. Okay, that one's in. It's looking good. Again, I had this is the full 48 inches, but it just doesn't quite go to the edges when it's raised up slightly. So got a little bit of a gap down in here, but I think a lot of guys would normally put a board with carpet and maybe use 3M adhesive, like double-sided strips, Velcro, to stick it on there, and then it wedges down in there. I think that's what I've seen guys do, but again, I'm not going to worry about it unless I start to lose little things down under there. But it looks good. Snug, perfect dimensions through there. It's just right up against. So, and here. I left a 1/4 inch of wood around the edges, you know, other than the sides where this was the full 48. But I left a 1/4 inch, and with that carpet wrapped tight around the edges, it fits nice and snug up. So now for the tricky one. I'm not sure how to do these slots. I think I'm going to end up having to cut the carpet so it ends right here on the edge, and then I'll fold one piece under, but since it'll be back tucked away in here, I'm hoping that'll be okay. One thing I will say is I ordered way too much carpet and way too much glue. I used half of this, and I thought I did it just the way I've watched on a bunch of videos, 1/8 inch grooves, and at times I thought maybe I might be getting too thick, but I mean, you can see it's a good coating of it. When I rolled it out, it didn't like ooze off the edges, so I didn't have too much. It would bead a little bit, but not ooze off. But I ordered 2 gallons of it, and I think it's like 50 or 60 bucks a gallon. So I probably wasted $150 in extra carpet and glue, which is really frustrating. It's a lot of money. All right, last piece. All right, this one I had to get a little bit tricky. So all I did was I just sliced through, so that'll push over the fin. I didn't get any wrapping. This one I didn't know what to do for these funky corners, so I just folded it back there and left a little bit of overhang. This is all at the back of the boat, so all right, let's see how she goes. Man, there's a ton of little carpet debris. I am seeing now that I should have done like a corner wrap here. Anyway, I might come back in and just glue a strip of carpet in there. Oh well, it's at the very back of the boat. All right, I think it turned out pretty nice. No seam there. I mean, there's slight, you can feel it with your finger, but not really. It's kind of snug. This worked out good. This will be covered with the gas can, so I don't really care too much about how that looks there, but these slid in real nice. I just pat them down with my finger. Hopefully the glue will hold. So, looks good. It's a good firm deck. No give, no wobble. It's gonna be nice. Sweet. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I'm trying to think if there's any other tips I have. I don't think so. So, I mean, some of those videos do tell you to let the glue set, like lay your board down, let the glue set for 24 to 48 hours, but I'm just gonna do that in here. I've felt around, I'm not feeling any bubbles or anything. Everything's tight and stapled, so I'll just let it set in the boat in place. Next videos, I'll be putting them in my lithium batteries, hooking on my Enduramax Minn Kota on the back, wiring everything up. I've got a Noco Genius Gen 5 by 2 that I'll mount in here so I can just plug in and recharge my batteries. I've got a Hummingbird. So that's the next step. Next video. Sweet. I like it. It's really nice. For a do-it-yourselfer who's never even done anything like this before.